and welcome to Pixel3r's live stream of Stories, The Path of Destinies. This will be part 2. Okay. We'll just get everything set up. Okay. Before I start, I'm gonna mess with the graphics settings a bit. Just trying to get it. There. I shouldn't have problems with, I shouldn't have too many problems with, missing the chat because my phone dies anymore. Because now I have a chat window set up on my computer itself. Very nice that. So if anyone joins in and happens to message me, I will be able to react much faster.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky River had surfaced. Renata knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescue. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Okay. So, I'm still looking for this mysterious truth. It looks like it's about Zenobia. You encounter her in all these paths. I don't know. You kidnap her, or try to, when you go after Lapino, so I'm gonna go that path.
Apparently, the mad rabbit sold a Pegasus that he didn't exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time. But he was out of time. Lapino's frantic message said that the Ravens were going to kill him for being a rebel spy. And that he had a clever plan. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Or so Lapino had told him over the fast speaker anyway.
Long loading screens.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prisoner? The village is empty.
Yes, I'll just craft a spork using all this ore and magical essence. Brilliant use of materials. Brilliant.
The ravens have taken the town. You're not at a scene where it is empty like this. All the people were taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. And I hope the people were just hiding.
I hope they're just hiding too. I mean, I hate for mass murder to be one of the...
Well, they needed to be dead. The right jewel really gives you an edge. The wrong, well, it's still pretty, isn't it?
Ah, whoops. Haven't seen those for a while. Whoops.
Renata looked around the empty village and reflected. The Sky River has turned out to be far too dangerous to be used. Time to turn to what you best.
Okay, still have that treasure chest marked. That's the one big problem with village setups. Often get lost wandering through them.
Bet you never saw that coming.
Damage when you grab. Oh, these are all distinct.
Cool.
More sword energy.
I could do that.
Resistance. Fire door. Pretty sure I never went through that. Come on.
There was a pleasant breeze coming through that door. Had it been closed before?
idea where I should be going now. Can't break through that. Oh, a well to jump down. This doesn't look familiar. But, well, this was the first path I took. It's the one I know least well. Nothing over here at all. Just a pretty waterfall scene. Dear Zenobia, how are you enjoying the Academy? New friends must already be flocking around you, no doubt. Here in the palace things are the same. I have much time to dedicate to my special hobby. I've been collaborating with Professor Calaveras and his team of experts to investigate the nature of the islands. My gut is telling me that the islands are alive. I think they have a will of their own. Do you hear me, daughter? Our world could be more than floating masses of rock and water. Professor Calaveras and his boys have made measurements. The islands are drifting, surrounded by the endless sky. It is difficult to notice, but through careful measurements of the wind over long periods of time, they are certain the islands are moving westward. But where to? It may take centuries, millennia to reach the destination. I have this strange idea. What if the islands are some sort of herd, and that they are deliberately searching for another herd of islands? Can you imagine? New islands, with their own inhabitants. The thought that we may not be alone. If only I could live long enough to witness the event. With love, Father. It's odd how he switches. It's so odd how the Emperor changes his voice in those depending on what arcs you're on. I went to get the Iblis Stone and then the core, and there was an interesting side plot. But I'm looking for the truth about Zenobia. So I think I should go after her.
She'd been Renado's best friend in Sword to Sword, and you're so mad at her. The right reminded him they'd been close. She told him things no one else knew, but she never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans. Chuck was a master spy.
He was also a traitor.
Give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators all right. Said Lapino. Taking her would change the game all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I have to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Would he really turn her over to them? But this was war.
I might have
It
to.
wasn't meant to be pretty. Fresh socks, thought Renato. Please be fresh socks.
Come on. The movement controls really aren't that great. That is my biggest beef with this game.
Where was the work
Oh.
when you needed one?
The new gem.
Oh. Never mind.
Elemental resistance 2! And a 20% chance to deal double damage. No thank you. No! I'm not clicking that way. Come on. Ah.
It was time for a little exploration.
Ooh, yay. That, I think, was the first gem I got, and the one I still have equipped. Or one of them. Despite the fact that I don't actually use energy all that often.
Why was Lapino urging him to capture Zenobia? Obviously, it's a trap. But you never knew how Lapino thought. Sometimes his plans were so convoluted they did the exact opposite to what Lapino wanted. There must be some way to play it, Renato thought. Boy, someone has spent a lot of money for a graduation present. As to the gate, well, you could take her or leave her. So, best to do. So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lapino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the far ferry a little bit on fire. Latino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renato hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renato.
Nothing!
Well, go ahead. I'm sure you know better, said Latino.
I'm sorry, but I've gone through that path and I don't know if there's an actual difference or not.
Sword from the East made you so fast could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really want.
I have every single gem. They're all at max level. Dear Zenobia, as you read this letter, you are locked in your chambers, ready to spend your last night before, well, you know. I will not apologize. I know you are too proud to forgive me. I also know you won't resist reading through. You are a cat. As much as I've tried to educate you like a proper toad, I swear to you, and you have to believe me, that I did not plan all this when I adopted you. You have always been my special little kitten. That is why I'm writing this now, weeks in advance. I know I will not have the heart to do it in the night of the sacrifice. If I think of you as my daughter then, I may change my mind. You must think I'm selfish, and yes, I am a selfish, sad little toad that is afraid to die. But what I am doing will ultimately serve the greater good. I want the power, I want it all, and so I will keep my subjects content. Peace for eternity. Even if you hate me now, you can still respect that you can still respect that. You have to. It's the only way I can forgive myself for doing this to you. I will miss you for eternity. Tomorrow, try not to make a scene. Everyone will be watching. Still with love, Father. Okay. Good to know that he is just as two-faced as I thought. Oh, I died. Whoops. Shouldn't have done that.
Renato slipped with Zenobia's ship making no sound at all. Nor her guards. Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up in her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sweet. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She came stuck. And he noticed he had a blade to his throat.
Whoops.
Tail one. Her familiar voice. Did you really think you could capture me? Zenobia said as the ship lifted off. Now I just want to surprise you. Renato said, did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? And he told her why. His Imperial Majesty wants to bring the lost gods back. They could make him immortal. To seal the bargain, he needed a sacrifice. someone who truly loved him. You're lying. He was furious. You can't prove that. I can. So, we set sail for the Nexus.
Okay, this is probably the right path to discover the fourth truth. Because, wow! Wow.
The scientists at the observatory have resurrected one of his victims. Well, he's not exactly alive, but he can talk and he can't lie. You took a big risk. You know, I could just cast a spell to make you tell me where the rebel base is. And you wouldn't consider that cheating? She frowned. Fine. Let's go get your witness. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He accepted a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
Creepy.
The new pathway made Renato curious.
Let's just grab this chest first, though.
Just suddenly red spots and you finish. Oh, wait. Not yet.
Come on. What in the world? Stupid controls. Excellent. At school we learn the gospel of the transcendent emperor, the last divinity to pierce the skies. Oh, I remember the scroll. this place is still sorely graphically bugged out. Ah! Well, there's Zenobia behind you, in theory. Oh dear. This isn't good. This is not good at all.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The ravens had taken care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared around, shocked. The scientists had been neutral. They had no part in the rebellion. Take me to your council, she said, shaking. I have things to tell them. It was what Renato had gambled on. The Zenobia would turn against her father once she knew his madness. But the rebel base was secret. Could he really risk taking the Emperor's daughter there? Renato reached the Pino by far secret though. The one creature the ravens had left alive at the observatory. The Pino seemed awfully anxious to meet her at the secret base. If he was a spy for the Empire, he turned around and revealed the coordinates of the Empire, jeopardizing the entire rebellion. But Renato couldn't bear to think that the Pino would commit such horrible treachery. There was still good.
May have taken the wrong turn.
Sure. I'll meet up with you at the base, the Pino said through the tone. Good thinking. Renato gave him the coordinates. There's a shuttle here I can borrow. Renato found Zenobia in the chart. I've been having awful dreams, he said. Dead kittens and worse. I thought they were only dreams, you know. Why would anyone want the lost gods back? In those days, the favorite of a god could become immortal. She held herself and shivered. He wants to become an eater of souls. Well, I'm not afraid to die. Just tired of boredom. Renato said, but she didn't laugh. Silence fell, as they flew towards the ruins of the city of Uba, where the rebellion leadership was hiding. Zenobia couldn't help them fight off her father. No one could. As they touched the ground, it smelled the raven.
I came here for an argument.
They're probably looking for me, she said. You go on ahead. She had that fiery look in her eyes that he'd always loved. It was a bit odd, though. How easy she'd been to convince. It was what he'd gambled on, but he'd expected more of an argument. She'd always loved to argue. She considered it the fastest way to the truth. Maybe she'd long suspected the truth. Sometimes all it took was taking the bandages from your eyes. That must be any told himself.
Gosh. I love maps that are the same but different.
You jumped. Would you be rescued by an emergency platform?
Those definitely are crows I should worry about. Definitely.
They caught their breath under a ruined arch. It's beautiful, she said. This was the library of Ubar, he said. Your father's ravens thought they had an ancient book. She nodded. Was she crying? This is exactly what I wanted, Renata. To turn her to our cause. Why do I feel something is terribly wrong?
Because you're turning a daughter against her beloved father.
Is why. Sit tight, thought Renata. Long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. He was on fire. So far, so good.
I only had 10 health going in.
Resistance. He turned over and died. She had changed sides. Then the walls exploded. He heard toads croaking, "Oh, the ravens!" Blackbirds were pouring through holes everywhere. "It's a trap!" cried the countess. In the confusion, he saw flashes of magic. Then Zenobia being hustled off by Imperial troops. So, she had betrayed him after all. Renato ran for his ship. The Farfarer flew into the clouds, barely losing the Imperial ravens pursuing him. The rebellion was lost, and he had lost it. There was nothing to do but find Zenobia and make her pay for her treachery. His heart ached. He still loved her. But he had trusted her, and he had been a fool. She would be back at the fleet, gloating with her mad, bloodthirsty father. For all Renato knew, she was helping him bring back the old lost gods back from their exile. Renato landed in the middle of the Imperial fleet. The rebels were losing badly. Without leadership, slaughter. Renato felt strangely free. Trying not to think about how he lost the war. Trying not to think about how he loved Zenobia. Lying himself to treachery. That's what it meant to be a hero. To keep on fighting after the most bitter of betrayals. To never know if you could trust anyone. Cats were a waste of fur. Renato had a feeling that was the back door to something. But what?
I'm not sure what back door it was talking about.
What had happened to the people?
see where this path took me.
And suddenly Zenobia was there, advancing on the Pino. The mad rabbit had survived. Save me, or I'll do it for! Screamed the Pino. Zenobia turned, showing her teeth in a smile. You're alive! Renato ran towards the witch. The Pino's the one who betrayed you! She shouted. He won by far! Before he could think, Renato sank his
Oh!
sword. She stared at him. No! The Pino's the traitor! Renato had an awful, sinking feeling in his stomach. Then, he felt a knife in his back. I'm afraid she's right, said the Nile Rabbit. Ain't I a sticker? Then, the sun went out. Damn it! You should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up, like those doors he was opening up all over the map, that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. And he hadn't learned anything new this time. He'd done the same thing twice.
No, not twice. I got a very different plot arc.
The dwarf's pages fluttered to the beginning once again, faster than before, and he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. He was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
I feel like that was the right path to learn about Zenobia, but I don't want to do it all over again. The first step of Skyripper led to Return for Lapino. This game is called Stories, The Path of Destinies. It's sort of a multiple-choice time loop adventure game. Not sure how else to describe it. I did a 4-hour stream a few days ago of this, just giving it a try, and fell quite in love with it, so I thought I'd pick it up some more.
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The transcendent emperor had buried its pieces deep. And then, his emperor's horrific sacrifices brought it back to the surface. Renato wasn't exactly sure how to use the legendary weapon. Surely, there must be some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find the legendary weapon, he would use it. As he set foot in the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
So, yeah, this game is adventure, a lot of combat, but with branching story, and you keep going through after each ending, trying to find the best ending.
It's time to make a new sword.
It's a good game for a Let's Play, because it's not actually all that fun to play. What are you streaming this at? What do you mean? I'm streaming this to Twitch, but I'm pretty sure you know that already.
The sword feels even colder.
I'm pretty sure I haven't changed my settings from previous live streams. Bad data? Let's see. Bitrate 500? I think that's about what I had it at last time. Make sure it's a good speed, at least. Any suggestions for what I should change it to? I'm still very new to this. I don't think I've made any specific selections. Let's see. Base resolution, scaled resolution. Well, I don't have great internet, so I like to keep the settings low so that it's relatively fast, but let's see, output resolution is 768 by 432. That is pretty low. I could turn it up, but this isn't a very graphically pretty game. My PC can handle quite a lot, although this game seems to have long loading times regardless. My PC is pretty strong, but my internet is pretty weak.
Say goodnight, Gracie, said Bernard, wondering who Gracie was.
I can adjust the settings now, but I'll keep that in mind for later streams. I mean, this isn't exactly a graphically pretty game anyway. I don't think it matters a ton that the resolution is low.
There had to be a way to use the Skywripper without causing a catastrophe. Why? Maybe it's always dangerous, he imagines Zenobia saying. Always the voice of reason, that one. Well, there had to be a way to use the Skywripper, because not being able to use it was boring. So there.
Read that scroll before.
I wonder what happened to go that way.
Well, thankfully, just about everything is narrated, whether by me or by someone else. I realize it's not great, but, OBS broadcast doesn't let me change things while I'm streaming, so I can't really make a change right now. And what's more, it's mostly the story and narration that's actually interesting, so I don't really think of it as a hugely important thing to fix right now. Oh, this is another lovely graphical glitch area. This is definitely not a AAA title, I can tell you that. Not nearly enough work for it to be worthy of that.
It's not broccoli.
Poor controls, mediocre graphics, great story. That's its selling point. I mean, it is called Stories. But I have a standing dislike of FPS games. And I admit my poor internet would probably not be able to handle streaming any multiplayer games. But if you're trying to invite me to Team Fortress, I know you've played that before. I'm not incredibly interested. I like those characters, but the gameplay is just absolutely not my thing.
Open sesame.
Oh, lovely.
There it was. Sky Ripper's arms. The stuff that dreams of me.
Not really.
The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? You'd have to ask a scientist. First, he'd get the second piece. Sky Ripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be in captivity. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Seoul, I really don't play multiplayer FPS games. I own a handful. I have the BioShock series, which I play every once in a while. Although, once again, I like them for their story, not for their mechanics. Other than that, I mean, I have a couple first-person games. I play Skyrim third-person. I like the Portal series, but those really don't count as first-person shooters, now do they?
Renato asked himself why he changed course to confront Zenobia. He'd no idea. Sometimes he'd just do things and he could never figure out why he'd done them. Usually, they worked out. After all, he was a hero. truth is, though, he wanted to see her, wasn't it? It had been a dozen years since saw her through school. He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news.
That's not
That
creepy.
he still loved. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. It would be great to see her, even if they faced off across sword points as they'd done so many times at school. The world was a less interesting place without her.
More or less. I love puzzle games. Platformers are good, but I wouldn't really call myself obsessed with them. Adventure RPGs are my favorite genre. Ah.
This chest was filled with reprints of the entire Sandman series. Reprints? What was the point of collecting those? And there was something else.
That is an incredibly detailed description, which to me suggests you know of one game you really like? Third-person platforming and puzzle-solving games that have intriguing stories and tons of gameplay in an open world that feels alive. Ah, yep. One game.
I'm sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him.
Is RuneScape
And
really
he had the fuel to
platforming?
develop a plan.
I only played it a tiny bit way back in the dawn of history.
Maybe because the results tended to be disastrous. These streets were familiar. The source machine was closed now. But he had been down that street 1,000 times. He knew that guard. He knew that alley. He knew the alley behind it much too well. No wonder Zenobia had chosen to invade this island herself.
Read that one. I want to open the chest, not read the scroll. That sounds like my experience with RuneScape.
Renato slinked to Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on the bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was.
Well, the FPS genre is
He tapped her on the shoulder.
more than a little stuffed full of shovelware, honestly.
Except his mouth.
So much of it is just put in guns, let people shoot each other, fun, 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 make money.
Skyler, the English son, even where the secret rebel base was, until he was hoarse. It was some kind of truth spell. A talking truth spell. She called her father by Farsigatone and filled his majesty in. But why didn't you get the core? Croaked the Farsi, something like his majesty's cook. Because I miss you, darling. Renato grinned. He doesn't even know why. Frowned Zenobia. That makes no sense. It's a trap, shouted the Emperor. I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators. If Renato came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him.
I personally like a little bit of disconnect between me and the players. Between me and the game itself, so first person isn't something I directly enjoy.
What are you doing? Asked Zenobia. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He asked. She shook her head. He told her His Majesty wants to bring the lost gods back. They could make him an eater of souls, an immortal. But to seal his bargain with them, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. She was stunned. Furious. You're lying. Under a truth spell, it's a trick. You can't prove that. Take me to the observatory, and I will. What kind of proof could you possibly have? She said as they landed on the Nexus. Your father ritually sacrificed a village, and he left witnesses? The scientists resurrected one. Well, just don't have any reason to. She nodded grimly. You go on ahead. I don't want the ravens to see me. No skateboarding, as I read.
Low level of content aside from the story in this game? It's kind of an issue. I mean, I have completed everything except the story, basically. All my swords are at their maximum level. I've gotten level 3 of all the power-up crystals. I'm still terrible at combat, but what a surprise.
She caught up with him. Don't you think I'd know if my father wants to invoke the lost gods? Would he tell you? No. Would you help him? No. I'd bring his books. Why do you adopt a stray cat? Don't ask me like that. No. Not when there's no good answer, she said, her whiskers twitching. With all the secrets he revealed to the Emperor, the ravens were probably heading for the secret base. Renata began to wonder if there would be anyone left to stay if Zenobia changed sides. Cannon trap. Who doesn't love being shot by cannons? You get these things loaded anyway.
Oh, I will. I will buy a Nintendo Switch. I am an incredible Nintendo fan. There really isn't a question. Maybe a question of, do I get it on launch day, or do I wait a month or two until I'm sure I can afford it? And that question I'll probably buy it on launch day.
The observatory is a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The range had burned the reanimated witness to cinders. Renato was stunned. There goes my proof. These were scientists, not rebels. Sylvia said, upset. Why would he do this? I don't know. Let's go to the fleet and ask him.
Sure, I can probably do that. Is that better?
Given the Empire the location of the secret base, they need rescue.
Turned up the volume a fair bit. Does that work?
To rescue the rebel council from the almost certain Imperial attack. Why was he in this war anyway? Was it really to fight the good fight, or did he just want to see her again? One of these days, Rama thought I should really figure out my motives before I pass. Yeah. Was it true? Was he on this adventure just to see Zenobia again? The Imperial Air was not an easy catch to see. She'd ignored all his qualms and gifts. But on the other ball, trying to get a date like joining a war against your intended was pretty optimistic. And on the back of all, yes, it sounded exactly like him. Good. I'm so glad we had some chat, he told himself. Very clever engineer named Elon Musk started making floating platforms. How many people knew that? There were a lot of dead ravens along the side of the road. Someone had rampaged through here on a killing spree. What was a movie? Yeah.
Oh dear.
You can tell her style.
Oh gosh. Zenobia went after the Dark Relic. Konami.
He reached the summit, expecting no one. There
Don't
she was.
know a good list of their games off the top of my head. I feel like one or two were good.
She said, I'm going to kill all these ravens. And then him. And then his family. All like eggs and tadpoles. Then I'm going to burn down their pond. Did you go and get the Igloo Stone? Do you see? All these ravens I killed. So much power. Yeah. Great. Ronaldo said. You really want power? What do you want it, Rock? You want the stone, don't you? Not really. Good. I'd rather not have to kill you. You told her he loved her. That he wouldn't let the Igloo Stone take her, even if he had to die for it. Well, he plans to tell her. Didn't seem like the right time. Don't be cool off a bit. So, fly off. You rush back to Father and follow. Keeping a healthy distance. Zenobia's ship is just visible through the clouds ahead. How could he reason with her? But he had to. The rebels were down for the count. No wonder. He betrayed the location of their base and then he'd abandoned them. If she became Empress while she was in the grip of the Igloo Stone, if she became Empress by murdering her father, she could still be a great Empress. But she could also be a nightmare Empress. He had to be stopped.
Never played Metal Gear. During Halloween, I heard one of my friends gushing about how much they loved the Silent Hill series, but I've never played that either. I've heard of a few of the Castlevania games which were good, but once again, I've never played them myself.
There were more dead ravens along his path. Some of them moved in the back. She knew she could have easily talked her way past them, or cloud the little tiny raven brain to the spell. She was going out of her way to kill everything in her path. This wasn't Zenobia, not as he knew her. The port was heavily guarded. Still someplace that usually haunted.
Capcom? Capcom, I have a few games I know they made which I absolutely love. They were the main developers behind the Oracle series from the Zelda games. Let's see, that is the biggest one off the top of my head. I know they have a few other games that I've really enjoyed. I always take note of their logo, at least.
This was definitely better than putting yourself on a budget.
So you just listed a whole bunch of Resident Evil games saying they are terrible. Never played any, so I really can't have much of an opinion on those. But really, I hardly think one franchise is enough to say, this company is terrible.
Hello, emptiness.
Well, so? You asked if they were ever good. That doesn't just mean the past 5 years. That means ever. Eternity. Their past existence. And there was a time when they made at least 2 good games. Okay. On the subject of Capcom, Ace Attorney's a good series. I sincerely enjoy them. Ghost Trick was great. I hardly think that qualifies as a franchise, though, since I think there's just the one game. Mega Man is iconic, but I don't actually enjoy most of them. Monster Hunter, I played a little. Okami is great. Okami is a glorious, golden game. Other than that, I don't really recognize most of these. I know of Beautiful Joe, but never played it, and I've heard of Zack and Wiki. Heard it was good, but didn't have the energy for another sequel. I don't play any of those series you say they bleeped up, so I really don't know what I could say on that point. Oh, that's a new icon. What does that icon mean? Well, let's see. I hate horror, and I hate horror. That's the only reason I've ever really needed. That, and also, I don't think I've ever actually owned a console I could play them on? I'm not sure on that point, but I've just never had even a vague interest in the series. Digital distribution, like via Steam? I haven't looked into the Resident Evil series. I really can't say. Hard to put this into words. I mean, if it was a gift, I wouldn't turn it away, but I really don't have much interest in playing it. I don't really even know what it's about, other than it's a long series called Resident Evil. Seems to be in that area of extra gritty, gory horror that I really dislike, and I don't know. I don't typically put a lot of effort into deciding why I'm not going to play something. Yeah, I have Steam, as you know. I like Steam, but I mean, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking about it. Digital distribution is nice, it can get it to a lot more people. I don't know. Ah, that train of thought. No, I really wouldn't say it's superior in any way. I personally, and this is completely my own opinion on the matter, much prefer actual physical copies of the games. They do tend to get damaged and lost over time, which is one bonus digital distribution has. But there is something so natural feeling about actually owning a physical copy of a game. I can't say no to that. Yeah, I never really have hung around with the Xbox crowd.
sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, yeah. The Ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Ronaldo wanted to cut shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor. I'm not falling for him." But if there was one thing Ronaldo was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerously to its user. If he could put it into the Emperor's hands, all Kaiser in the Third might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
When it comes to PC games, I like digital purchasing just because it's a nice way to get a massive collection of games very cheaply that I can play for a little bit and never really care about. But definitely when it comes to console games, which I am a much bigger console fan than I am a PC fan, I much prefer having a physical copy of the game to getting a digital download. Always. Just a bit.
This chest smelled kind of funky. He hoped he didn't get it in his clothes.
I can understand that, but I have a natural aversion to subscription-based services. So I wouldn't go with it, but I'm glad it works for you. I definitely understand that lack of real-world interaction. On the other hand, one thing I do have to say, I am happy the Switch is changing from discs to cartridges again, because cartridges don't get scratched. Digital distribution also doesn't get scratched, and that's one of the big things that's always made me skew towards buying a game on Steam, for example. I prefer the physicality of it, but it is nice to not have a physical thing that will get scratched and damaged if you use it too much. Mm-hmm.
They got the core. It was all going according to plan, thought Renata. Now we just needed Zenobia on this side. Yes, that was even better. The Empress Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. The gem would corrupt anyone. Even her. That's it, he thought. Even the Pino. Even the Pinos already betrayed her. He would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor.
Gosh.
He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself. The core. He was a super genius. Terrible. Renata told Renata. If only I had gone for the Empress Stone. Now he's lost in enemy territory. He had the Pino on that map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Was it the Pino? I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out. And after that, the Pino hopped off with the map.
Okay, assuming I am on the true ending course, I really like how this plot goes. Ooh, wow, that was unexpected.
Renata slipped through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was, how sleek, how soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke, and he noticed he had a very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Heard a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat. Said Renata. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice. Someone who truly loves him. To make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone? They can make him immortal. An eater of souls. There is that.
Well, was it ever anything different? I mean, the main reason for the switch to discs was just because it could store more data.
To the Bird Village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous early creatures they had sacrificed. He could still see those kittens and puppies, their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness on the observatory.
I definitely understand that sentiment. Digital distribution is not a good replacement for physical distribution by any means.
He couldn't get why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself from the Pino. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying. What did he know about you? Said Renata. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renata had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He'd sent to the Bird Village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
really. I haven't noticed much of any differences in price. I haven't looked a ton, but... I mean, really, the developers put in the exact same amount of effort, regardless of whether it's physical or digital distribution. I can completely understand the prices being about the same, especially since we have immensely decreased the cost of actually producing the physical medium. I mean, discs are used for everything. We know how to mass produce those really well now. I mean, I can understand them being the exact same price pretty easily. For me, it does mean I never lose my digital games. That is a nice bonus. But still. Sure it wasn't on sale or a used copy that you got? I mean, we live in a capitalist society. Yes, but the whole realm of used copies of games enters into a different economic realm, really. I mean, you're not paying the developers or the distribution for it. You are given it for, usually for trade-in value. Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that GameStop doesn't have to pay the developers for a used copy. It's not the condition, it's that used is a different economic realm, like I said.
Sandy heard the rumors. No. You can trust her because she never broke her word. And she could trust him because she could see right through him. Well, she'd probably be there well before him. She at least had to fight her way to brainstorm the Ravens.
The developers don't come up with the prices, Seul. as a budding game developer myself, I have to point out that it's not that difference. The price is all about the retail. That's all it is. Whether GameStop selling new copies or any other store selling new copies or the digital distribution selling copies of the files, in order to have the right to sell them, in order to have the copies to sell, they pay the developers. The devs have nothing to do with the final prices. Absolutely nothing. Zip, zero, zilch. The devs make the game. They want fair price for their work. Speaking as a budding game developer, the artistic nature of making a game, the fact that I look at the world and I see game mechanics unfolding before my eyes, the fact is, most developers make games because they want to make games. But they also want to live off the money they make doing what they love. And they don't pay if it doesn't appeal to the gamers. I'm not entirely sure where you're getting lost here, but the fact is, most people don't go into making games for the money. I mean, it's a highly specialized career path with difficult, very competitive hierarchy. It's not exactly the sort of thing people go into for the money. Like everything, Seul, game development is a balancing act. You can't make a game completely without making money at all. The fact is, if you're going to invest in making a full game, you need to live in order to do that. And that requires a decent amount of income so that you can buy food, keep a roof over your head, and stuff like that. I realize you name yourself socialist, but really, you can't be so blind that you literally think we're either entirely capitalist or entirely without. The point of making a game economically is to turn your skills towards something that can earn you income. That's the point of really doing anything. It's an entertainment industry, just like movies, just like writing. And honestly, people do that. They make games that just appeal to the distribution. That's what basically every movie tie-in game ever has been. Oh, this movie did well, so the game will. It doesn't, it flops, but they still get paid by the distribution company. There is no heart, there is no soul in creating that, but it is done. That's life. Sorry that you've just now realized that everything is a horrible mess. And then, of course, there's the problem of making sure they'll buy your next game. Because if one game is a flop, then they're not going to buy your second. Sorry, Seul, but if you're looking for me to join some revolution, you're asking the wrong person.
They started arguing with me. I lost my temper and I wanted their blood. Not me. The stone did. Did you take it from the people? I had a plan. You had a stupid plan. She said, I'm going to go kill my father now. No, you can't. You just take his place. You'll become worse than him. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too. Look, he said. Now I met you kill the Emperor. Enraged, she raised the sword. You hate him too. You could sense the Emperor stone, yearning for his death. But she didn't strike. You kill him. He'll destroy you. I know you. Shut up. She shouted her sword trembling. I won't lose you again. Not for anything. Get away from me. He said that he was very close. I can't lose you again. And he was in reach of her sword. I hate you. I hate you too. I love you. He said for the very first time. And then she was weak. He was holding her. The sword had dropped from her hand. He glanced at the Emperor stone. It was no longer the black of the void. Like coal. No. It glowed. Like a cinder. It was crackling, burning, crumbling into ashes. Listen. Haven't you? She said. She was weak. The stone had taken so much from her. Always. He said. She staggered as he helped her up. Let me take you away. Where? The island of Avalon. The sisters will hear you. Keep her flawless. The meaning the Farfarer, the fastest ship in the Empire.
I'm liking this plot. Anyway. Changing the system is not an easy thing. Changing the system really involves changing all of the capitalist social structure of America and the world as a whole. It's not something you can readily change. So, well, maybe it seems like, oh, I'll just do it differently, but it does not work. It's too much. In a distant, objective perspective, it can seem like, oh, you change the world once and then individual people have it easier. But it's the fact that it takes millions of times the manpower, the energy, the life to change the world than it does for one person to jump through a hoop. Recommend you do? I don't even know what you're trying to do. Are you trying to become a game developer? Because I honestly suggest you just jump through the hoops. I mean, all you can do is find a happy medium. You can't get the best deals while also doing the most good. I mean, it's like, how can I get paid to sleep in bed all day? There is no perfect solution for both. You have to find a happy medium. My suggestion is just do your research, support games you like and developers you feel are doing the best they can.
They fare very far indeed. Beyond the Empire, beyond the reach of the Empire. To the mystical island of Hathaway. We didn't know exactly where it was, but we knew we could find it. We would find peace there. Second star on the right. Straight on to morning. Laughed slowly. And we laughed together for the first time in a long time.
As a consumer, the best way to support the industry is to pay as much as you can for the games you value from the developers you like. That is the best way to help the industry. It really is. It's not what anyone wants to hear. They want to sign a petition or something. But that isn't a valid way to make progress. From game to customer, you pay for a game. It's owning that game is written to your account, and you can download it onto any computer where you have an account on Steam. Steam is basically just an online repository for digital copies of all your games. Or at least all the games they have the rights to distribute. It's a very good system in my opinion. Apparently there's even ways to share games between friends and family, although I have not looked into that closely. On the developer side, digital distribution is not great for developers, because generally the distributor will pay a much inflated price, but they don't pay a price per unit like they do with physical distribution. That's probably its biggest weakness from the developer side. On the development side, Valve pays a large sum to the company for the rights to distribute it. I think frequently the contract has to be renewed, although Steam may have a way around that, since they like to keep a very permanent stock of what games they have. I'm not certain about the exact numbers. What I do know is digital distribution does not pay by the unit, and that's its biggest weakness from a development standpoint. Steam is the most popular. It contributes to more developers than any. That's probably what I would recommend most. From what I understand, they tend to be generous with the amounts they pay developers, which is good. Hate this battle. Steam is my favorite digital distribution company. I did not ally with them when I was really interested in game development, so there are things I don't know. I don't tend to go into in-depth gutter trolling research for things. It's just not my style. But I do know they support more developers than most other digital distribution companies.
decaying weapon. It was the core. A devastating beam lanced out of the flagship. Renato zigzagged wildly to keep the father out of it. Now the Raven scouted were close in the distance, and the beam was getting closer too. Then came a blinding flash. The air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He smelled burnt oak, burnt feathers, and burnt flesh. And whoever could hear and see him, he was alive and unhurt. And they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it. Through luck, through love, they had won the war. Avalon, here we come, he said as he held her arms wide at the prow of the boat. Let her feel its speed. Maybe the real Avalon is wherever we're together, she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Renato and Zenobia went to one of the two Avalons. The one shrouded in mists, or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell. He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny. Well, he hadn't actually done that, but he knew what he would do. Renato smiled. He practically wanted to kiss it, a kid's sacrifice, not mean in vain. He saved the book and saved the world. Renato owed him and his mother so much. Renato lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. This time, he would win.
That was a great game. I really liked the final true ending in particular. Okay, great story. I do stand by that the mechanics are a bit poor in areas, and really, there's too much story for the mechanics they have. Add a couple more levels to the swords, make finding the gems a little harder. Anyway, this was a pretty good game. Could have stood from a full cast of narration, or at least a narrator who can do better accents. Could have done with a little more RPG content. But other than that, I'd say it was good. And back to my conversation with Seul. Let's see. I mean, that looks like a very good section of contract. Yes, some things come out of the revenue share, that always happens. On the other hand, they do not take away deductions for marketing or bandwidth. I haven't looked into it intently. I mean, I've only finished a handful of games, and none of them were Steam-worthy. They just weren't. But from that bit of contract you've posted to the chat, it seems like it errs on the positive side of the end, really. That was a good game. And since I have finished the game, I'm gonna close down this stream. Thanks for joining me, Seul, and thank you for anyone who watches this later on YouTube. I hope the in-depth discussion on the methods of game development and sales didn't turn you away from the story too much. Thank you for joining me. This is Pixel3r, signing off.